He was 13 when Aristotle came to teach him. The boy had strange eyes, one dark as night, one bright as the sea. Ancient writers said his neck tilted slightly, always toward heaven, as if listening for a voice no one else could hear. Aristotle gave him knowledge, but what burned inside Alexander could not be taught. When Philip's finest horsemen could not tame the wild stallion, Alexander stepped forward. He had noticed the horse feared its own shadow. He turned it toward the sun, and it grew still. Philip wept with joy. "My son," he said, "find a kingdom worthy of you. Macedonia is too small." At the Granicus River, Persian commanders waited on the far bank. Every general warned Alexander not to cross. He crossed anyway. In the battle that followed, a Persian axe nearly split his skull. A companion saved him. Alexander had nearly ended before he had truly begun. At Issus, Darius III led a Persian army 10 times the size of Alexander's. Darius fled the battlefield on horseback, abandoning his mother, his wife, his children. Alexander treated the Persian royal family with great honor. This was the moment the world understood. Something extraordinary had arrived. Alone, he crossed the Libyan desert to the oracle of Siwa. No conqueror had dared this journey. The ancient priest looked into his mismatched eyes and spoke words that shook the world. "You are not a mortal king. You are the son of Zeus." What else was said in that dark sanctuary? Alexander never told. He walked out, and the god had arrived. One night in Persepolis, the great palace of Xerxes caught fire. Some say it was deliberate revenge for the burning of Athens. Some say it was a drunken accident. Alexander himself, it is said, wept at what he saw in the morning light. Even conquerors cannot always choose what they destroy. At the Hydaspes River, King Porus waited with war elephants, creatures Alexander's horses had never seen. It was the hardest battle of the campaign. When Porus was brought before him, Alexander asked, "How do you wish to be treated?" Porus answered, "As a king treats a king." Alexander gave him back his kingdom. Beyond the Hydaspes, Alexander wanted to march to the end of the world. But his soldiers had been away from home for 8 years. At the Bias River, they refused to go further. Alexander retreated to his tent for 3 days, waiting, hoping they would change their minds. They did not. The march back through the Gedrosian desert was catastrophic. Soldiers died by the thousands from thirst and heat. Alexander walked alongside his men, refusing to ride. When a soldier brought him a helmet full of water, Alexander poured it on the ground rather than drink while his men thirsted. In Babylon, Alexander fell ill. He continued meeting with generals, planning new campaigns. Arabia, perhaps Carthage. But the fever did not break. Within 10 days, he was dead. He was 32 years old. His generals gathered at his bedside. To whom do you leave your empire? They asked. Alexander, barely able to speak, answered, to the strongest. Within a generation, his empire had shattered into warring kingdoms. This, too, perhaps, was his legacy. He was beautiful, and he was terrible, tender and merciless. He wept at the ocean's edge and laughed in the fire. Half man, half god. The oracle had named him rightly. 3,000 years have passed. Armies still study him. Poets still dream of him. Some questions are not meant to be answered. They're meant to burn.